Hey, welcome everybody to Havokmkr Studio. Sorry I don't have my camera up right now. For you guys really don't really want to see my pretty face. I'm going to try something else out tonight. So instead of having the camera on my beautiful face, I'm going to see how the computer runs with having just the one camera going. See if I get a better performance. I'll check my analytics and everything later on tonight to see how that's going, and if successful, great. Just won't have you guys seeing my pretty face. But if it's not causing any issue, then I'll just get that back up and running. And at least now, if somebody startles me with the sound effects down below, you guys, you'll probably hear me, but you won't see me get startled. That's not the reason why I got rid of it, though. So I just want you guys to know that. So today, what we're going to work on is continue working on these custom Blade Guard veterans or converted Blade Guard veterans in anticipation for the Indominus box that comes out in just a couple weeks. I believe, and unless I miss my guess, we're going to see it go on pre-order around the 11th of July. That is the second Saturday, I believe. And then it will be ready for purchase about 2 weeks after, which I think is the 24th? Let me pull up a calendar here. 25th, sorry. So I think that's about the time frame we're going to see. It could be earlier, it could be later. It might not even be a 2-week pre-order window. I think it will be, just because of how big it's going to be, and with everything that has gone on with the COVID-19 and how stores have been impacted and are still being impacted, especially here in Texas. I think we're going to see another. They're probably going to want to kind of trim down, how much they send out to stores. So one of the ways that they can do that is by giving them a 2-week pre-order window, and probably what some stores will call like net terms, like, hey, you buy 30, 40 copies, whatever, and you don't have to pay us until like 2 months later, something like that. So I think that is what it's going to be. Hey, thank you, I appreciate that. That gold, it's actually about 3-4 different colors. Let's count the colors. Retributor gold, Auric armor gold. Sorry, let's do it in order. Retributor gold is first, then Agrax Earthshade, Auric armor gold, then Liberator gold, and then Runefang steel over it. So 5 colors. I guess you can count the Agrax Earthshade as a color, I guess. Yeah, we'll call it a color. So yeah, it's 5. And now that I've done it like this, I have to go back all the other ones, and that I just did Auric armor gold. Maybe I will. I don't know. It's like 45. It's like 75 models. I really don't feel like redoing all their gold, so we're probably just gonna leave that alone. But thank you, Foxman. I appreciate that. So this will be a Blade Guard veteran. I've got a shield around here somewhere. Let me show you. If you're new to the channel, let me grab the first one that we did here last week on the channel. That way you guys can have an idea of what I'm doing here. So taking a Adeptus Custodes Storm Shield and just putting on some converted models. Some converted Intercessor models with various parts. You'll recognize those swords as belonging to the Blood Angel, Sanguinary Guard. Threw on a whole bunch of extra purity seals that kind of give that look like he's in motion alongside that tabard that needs to actually be finished. I forgot to do the part of that tabard, my bad. Tossed on some extra bolt pistol magazines and made a funky looking backpack topper there, like heated coals. I don't know, I was trying to think of something like, since these are the Iron Snakes, I was thinking, since that's very Greek themed, that perhaps, it's like a lantern for, escorting the dead, like Charon, the boatman, or the ferryman. So I'm going to do that for 2 of these guys. This is going to be one of his brothers in arms. I'm actually getting close to, quote, done-ish. I'm waiting until I can figure out how I want to do age, or how to age and crack the leather. I got a couple ideas that I've tried. I'm not too thrilled with them, so I've been waiting until I get kind of perfect it, and then once I do kind of perfect it, I'm going to go through and knock out about 75. Well, by the time this army's done, by the time that Indominus box comes out, I should be at about 100 models. So this should be a full battle company plus vehicles. And once I get to that battle company size, then I'll probably have to go through and do about 100 of those, or not even 100. I mean, if you count each of these, each guy has about 3 pieces of leather on them. So that's going to be about 300 different pieces. Oh, why do I do this to myself? Anyway, so we're going to tinker with him tonight. If you missed it, just post it up on Instagram and on the Facebook page. The links are below, by the way. A lot of work's getting done on my lieutenant. Still a ways to go, but we're in the detail stages where I need to actually kind of act like a pompous artist, and I need to wait until the moment strikes me when I want to go in, like the leather thong that's kind of wrapped around that dagger hilt or handle. I'm going to want to go in with a small brush and deal with that, but I'm going to wait till inspiration hits. Other things, work on the bones on the inside of that little reliquary that he's got on his hip there, the red one. See if I can let's see if I can point that out for you. This right here, and just other little things, but essentially the lieutenant is done. I mean, minus the basing. Still don't know what I want to do with that basing, man. I've got a couple ideas. I like to do some water base, like they're on the edge of a cliff or beach type thing. I'm just not sure what I want to do yet. But that blue and purple looks pretty good on that blade too. So we're not going to tinker too much with him tonight, but I wanted to be able to show you guys the work that has progressed since yesterday. And I mean, he's nearing completion, very near completion. Got to work on the plume on his helmet. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the lieutenants, because right now all the regular veterans have the red, kind of go along with that standard red helmet that Space Marine sergeants or veterans have. The captain has red and white stripe, or like a banded plume. So I'm not sure. I might just leave this white. I'm not sure. I don't know. I really don't know yet. So we're going to work on that one lieutenant, or that one Blade Guard veteran. We might deal with this captain here with his power spear. This converted captain that I've done. We might tinker with him tonight. This might actually be a Wednesday deal, because I also have a bunch of what do you call those, zombie side characters that I need to be working on too. So in fact, I think that's what we're going to start with tonight. I feel like that's what we're going to start with. Let's see here. We have this handsome gentleman that I'm thinking is a stand-in for Ash in the was it Army of the Dead, right? The Evil Dead, Army of the Dead, or whatever. God, I'm sorry guys, I can't think of the name of it. I think it's Army of the Dead. That very, very good movie. If you could consider that. Shop smart, shop S smart. So I think this is the evil version of him, Evil Ash. And I don't know who this character is, but I just grabbed it, so I had a female character that was, and this particular one is kind of plain. I don't think she has a name. We'll find out really quick. There's a Xena model from Xena Warrior Princess. We'll deal with her later. So we'll deal with those two tonight. And I think this is an abomination. Hey, good evening, Grandpa Strange. This is an abomination So I think this is probably who we're gonna start with. But I need to pull up his image because I want to make sure I get the right one, or I paint it as close to as possible. The client was very happy with what I did with the Highlander and the other set of Zombicide, so yay. So now I just and he's gonna give me some more models after this set is done, so at least that's a nice steady minor income, if you will. So I can't complain too much. All right, she looks like a waif. Trying to see some imagery, some painted miniature. Some of these are painted ones, but I'm not seeing what I want. Oh well. Let's do this. Let's just blow this image up. Alright, so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Let me pull it up here on the camera, or on the, put a little screen capture up there. Alright, so I know it's kind of hard to see. See if I can expand it a little bit here. So who we're going to be painting today is the gentleman right here. That should be relatively easy. And then this waif down here. I'm not sure if the Abomination is in this box. Oh yeah, there he is. Now, I don't know if this is their actual color schemes, but this is what this is the only reference I have. So that is what we're going to follow. Because I couldn't find any of the cards or anything for those miniatures. So we're just going to do our best. Since he didn't specify anything differently about that. I mean, I hope it's okay. Like I said, I can't find the artwork anywhere. Like the card art. Oh, they call him Evil Troy is the name of the other version. And the big guy is called... Oh, he's just an Abomination. Okay. So not too bad. Let's see here. Still trying to find some good imagery. I'd like to be able to get these as accurate as possible. But I also know that the Zombicide miniatures don't necessarily have... since they're not really based on anything, I'm probably can get by with this. Unless we can find the Kickstarter. There we go. Maybe the Kickstarter will have what we want. Alright. If you guys are interested in what this game is that I'm looking up, it's Zombicide, the Black Plague. It's definitely not available anymore. So just in case you are searching for it, you will not find it. Alright, I'm not seeing anything. So looks like we're gonna have a little bit of creative freedom with this guy. Not too much, but you know, I can keep it within, you know, some standard decency, I guess. I don't know how else to word that. Oh, here we go. We might have... Let's see. Sorry, I probably should have had this prepped beforehand. I apologize. Oh, man, they've got a William Wallace model. Troy and Evil Troy, or Ash and Evil Ash, which is, I think, is hilarious. But that'll be fun to paint. I can see now. Okay, I can see that image right there. And the Abomination, I can do whatever I want. Cool. Cool. And... Oh, they got some really awesome models. Alright, so let's get to it. Let's get into this. Let's not even talk about it anymore. I'm thinking we're going to do a couple different things today with this guy. First, looks like he's not wearing anything except it looks like he has a noose. Yeah, he has a noose around his neck that comes down across his torso. It looks like his torso and everything is split open. It looks like there's muscle and tissue split up underneath the rib cage there. He's got some sort of skull cap on, so that'll be some cloth. Looks like he has some cloth wrapping around. Yeah, there's a little bit of cloth left over from his shirt right before he turned into an abomination. So, cool. And he's got... It looks like he has pants on. On one leg he has pants. And then the other leg, it looks like it's bare. So, let's... Yeah, it looks like he's got pants on one leg. Yeah, he's got pants on one leg. And then whatever that is wrapped around his bottom there. Alright, so what I'm going to start with, I think... And I think so. I'm going to start with some Skeleton Horde straight out of the bottle. I'm not going to thin it down. Because I'm going to use this first, and then I'll come back in with a thin down, probably Hex Wraith Flame, or I might thin down some Warp Lightning, like seriously thin both those down, and then apply that over the recesses, let all that kind of settle down, and then bring it back up. So we're just going to apply this. It'll be a little dark at first, but like I said, we're going to come back in. We're going to actually keep laying some layers down here for colors. But as those colors dry, as this contrast paint dries, I will apply a couple other layers of contrast paint. I wasn't actually intending to stream tonight. I wanted to work on a couple videos, some paint tutorial videos, just really easy ones, especially with stuff like this right here. There's a lot of people out there that don't do the big miniature war games like Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Bolt Action, War Machine, Hordes, any of those. But they do play a lot of board games like Zombicide. And I'd like to start grabbing a bunch of those, like what I'm doing here, and start painting those models, and or not even just painting the models, but showing some quick tutorials that people can just use a couple contrast paints and get those models painted up if they want to. You don't have to. They're your models. You can do what you want. But if you're interested, but maybe a little intimidated, well, let's see if we can reduce a little bit of that anxiety. Well, I shouldn't even say that's not. I don't even think that's really anxiety. It's really just kind of lack of confidence, maybe. No offense, but maybe a little lack of confidence, especially if you're not, you don't paint regularly. That's learning a new skill, and you don't want to screw up because you want, you're afraid you might not get to a high enough standard when the only standard that you need to reach is whatever you want it to be. Because at the end of the day, they're your models. That is the absolute most important thing, guys and gals, is they're your models. You paint them however you want. And as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. If people poop on your paint, then that's on them for being not very helpful or constructive. Especially if they don't even bother to tell you or kind of say, hey, why don't you try this next time instead. People that don't even offer a genuine critique. They just I have not, I don't think I've ever encountered anybody like that, but I'm sure they exist. There's poopy pant people all over the place. Go to Twitter and type up something mildly controversial and watch people just lose their mind. I'm not using any particular technique here, except just trying to make sure I don't paint over something, an area I already painted over, just in case, because sometimes this contrast paint will dry really quick, and or it might be I might have gotten too much in an area, and it'll kind of glob up. And if it's in the process of drying and it's like a big wet blocky or blotchy area, it will do like a coffee stain, and then I'll just it'll end up ruining that, which at this stage that's not too much of a big deal, because I can go back in with some Corax white, which is the color I use to prime this model, dab that in there once the contrast dries, and then clean, and then go back in and reapply. And it looks like this guy's having a really bad day, because he whatever turned him into an abomination. I mean, he ripped not only out of his pants, but out of his shirt and out of his socks. Like these that white areas down there, those are his socks and his pants, man. He is having a bad day, or he's having a good day. You know what? He's been working out, and it just nothing's been working for him. And then along comes some weird, crazy wizard, and he's like, "Hey, dude, you wanna be buff really quick? I got you." Turns you into this thing. You might need to start doing a little bit more legs. Well, I don't know. His legs look pretty beefy, but he's definitely been working on his upper body more than anything else. All right, so while the abomination is drying, man, they did a good job of sculpting those muscles. This is a beefy boy. Beefy boy. All right, so while the abomination is drying a little bit, I'm going to put him over here, and let's bring up our waif. I don't even know if that's the correct term, but we're going to call her the waif. She's going to be very actually simple to do. So I don't think, yeah, okay, I know what we're going to do. Since I have been trying to, I don't know, man. I'm not sure what color we should do. I mean, I think she's just kind of like a basic survivor. Hey, evening, Nam. I think she's just a basic survivor. But I don't know what I should do color-wise for her. Man, that's really bothersome, not knowing how I want to do this. Man. Well, I'm not worried about Middle Ages or being historically accurate. So let's be a little daring and go with Scarlet. We're gonna give her a entire dress there. I'm assuming it's a full dress. We're gonna make this use some Blood Angel red. Like I said, I like using these contrasts on these models. Hey, awesome! Thank you for following. I really appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. As I tell everybody else, if you have any questions, requests for painting and such, always let me know. Leave it in the chat. And as the videos get uploaded to YouTube, yay, thank you. As we get videos uploaded to YouTube, leave comments on there, because we're trying to grow that channel as well. Yeah, I think this red is actually... You worked on minis all day today? Nice. I have too. This is... Let's see here. How many models have I done today now? I think the ones that we're working on here, the 4 or 5, will end up being like 20 today. Mainly these zombie side models. Boy, I really like the way they paint up. These Cool Mini or Not models are a lot of fun to paint. Very easy, especially the contrast paints for base coating. Because they got lots of textures. The clothing has lots of folds and pleats that really make, when I go back in doing the highlights, really make it fun. Now I'm going to try to keep, since this is just a basic survivor, I'm not going to get too crazy with her outfit. Since also it's supposed to be Middle Ages, so I don't want to like put death metal, or not death metal, but put some symbols and stuff on there. But we might, maybe, let's see here, let's tell a story about her. I feel like she might be just the basic survivor, one of the basic survivors out of that huntsman box. But I feel like she has more of a story to tell. So I feel like she's part of a group called the Order of the White Rose. There we go. I don't know if that's historically accurate, but we're just going to call that. This is fantasy, so we're just going to call that the Order of the White Rose. So how do we represent that? Well, besides giving her base color here, so this Blood Angel red will be the base color for her gambeson that she's wearing. She didn't have time to suit up because of the zombie plague rampaging in Wolfsburg, which is the name of the town that this game takes place. So she didn't have time to suit up. She just got her gambeson on, which is just a heavy quilted cloth. And so what we will do is once that red dries, I'm going to go in and I might have to do a quick Google search for a negative space rose, but I'm thinking we'll try to do a little rose there on her, over her left breast. I think we're going to try that, but I need to wait for this to dry. So once this is dry, we'll move on. The Abomination, still drying. That's okay. Man, I love his beefy. He's a beefy boy. Beefy. All right, so actually what we can do while she is drying there, I can tinker with her sword a little bit. And once again, sorry I don't have the webcam up so you guys can see my pretty face. I'm trying to see how the analytics run with just one camera. So we'll see if it's if there's any difference. If there's no difference, I'll just go back to put my pretty face up there. I don't know why I'm talking like that. I tried running a test stream, but the server site that I can run the analytics on was not behaving properly. I don't know if they had high traffic load, maybe something was wrong with the servers, so I wasn't able to test. So I've got to use you guys as a guinea pig. Real quick, I am just putting on a base coat of Grey Knight Steel from Citadel Paints. And on the sword blade, we're doing it on the crossguard or the hilt. And I'm also going to go ahead and apply it to the pommel. The pommel is the bottom part of the sword there. Usually it's a weighted end to act as kind of a counterbalance. Like my fencing sword I have, the German rapier, Schlager blade. I've got a 16 ounce pommel, so it's a little bit heavier, but I've got a slightly longer blade. I think it's a 38 inch blade, so a little longer, but it's helpful having that extra little counterweight. That's drying up pretty fast there. So actually, once that's dry, before I try to paint that rose on, we're going to go ahead and do some very light dry brushing layers. Once again, this is just a fast and easy way to get models painted, especially these zombie side models, unless you're trying to get to an award-winning level of painting. But if you are just trying to get these on the tabletop so you can have fun and everybody can go, ooh, ah, those are awesome, then that's what we're going to be going for. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to skimp on detail. I'm definitely going to be tackling all the detail in here, the folds of her gambus in here, and the rolled up sleeves, whatnot. So I'm just going to use some simpler techniques instead of some wet blending or some more advanced techniques that I would probably do if I was trying to do like a showpiece model. I'm just trying to keep this nice and simple for the regular folk that don't have a lot of time to paint and don't really want to paint a lot. So, but these contrast paints, I'm telling you, are absolutely amazing. So we're gonna let her dry, and then the last one, not the last of us, but the last one that we're gonna be working on is Evil Ash, or as they call him in Zombicide, Evil Troy. So Evil Troy here, let me take a look. Looks like kind of black armor. Well, looks almost kind of like a wrought iron armor. So what I think I'm going to do is we'll go paint it black, and then we'll come back in and dry brush or highlight with some metallic, probably Leadbelcher or Runefang Steel from Citadel. He's got some brown pants, because you should always wear the brown pants when you're fighting, especially fighting monsters, because you don't want people to know what happens to your pants when you're fighting. So brown pants there. So, and then it looks like black boots. So we can at least start with the brown pants. And I'm thinking brown pants. I want to keep using the contrast because, like I said, these contrasts, they do the job. They do the job. But I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to thin down the contrast. I'm going to be using snakebite leather. I'll put it on camera here in just a second. And I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the contrast mixing medium. So this is the snakebite leather. I'm going to do a 1-to-1 mix, just to kind of thin it down a little bit. And then if it's too thin, then I can come back over it later with probably Agrex or Shade or something similar, and darken it up a little bit. That's not a big deal. I'd rather go light in the beginning and then have to darken it up back up. Oh, actually, this is probably the right consistency. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we got the right consistency there. Heck, yeah. Did an experiment, and the experiment worked right off the bat. Fan-freaking-tastic. And I'm not too concerned if I get a little bit over on... I'm going to do my best not to paint over on areas that'll be a different color, but if I do, at this stage, not a big deal, because I can always come back in. As I've said before many times, and will again, I can come back in with my base color, which in this case is Corax White. And in this early stage, it's okay. But later stages, as I get start adding those layers, those extra details, I've got to be very cautious because I do not want to mess up all the work I've done. Man, those brown pants. I like those brown pants. I think if I was in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, I would be wearing brown and black pants all the time, because I would not want people to know what happens. I might actually wear, like, Depends. I'm not going to lie. You know, because it's... I'm not ashamed. I am not ashamed to say that. I would be really concerned. Ooh, I'm not liking how that looked. There we go. I am not. I would have I wouldn't be worried, be shameful or be ashamed or anything. I mean, zombies chasing me down, especially fast ones. I would be definitely messing my pants. I'm not ashamed to say it. All right, so. All right. Should just let that dry a little bit, but I want to do a little bit more. So this will be our first paint. I'm going to go in, He's got that skull cap there. So we're just going to use some of the Morghast bone. It's a layer or a base paint from Citadel. It's a nice color. It's very it's got good coverage, and I can use this as a nice base. Slap a shade on it, then lighten it, do a couple more layers to lighten it back up. I just want it to look bony at the end of the day. Like I said, you can see I got a little bit on his face. Not a big deal. I'm not at this stage. I'm not too concerned. All right. Let me check to see if his hands are kind of. Oh no, they gave him like kind of messed up human hands. All right, whatever. Whatever. All right. Before I do tackle any of the other colors here, I'm going to let these pants dry. We're going to check on our waif, or sorry, our sister, or whatever she is, Knight of the White Rose. I think that's what we called her. So she looks like that's dry, but the Abomination is still drying. So I might have gotten a. Oh, he's got a lot of deep recesses. That's probably what's going on there. All right. Gonna grab. I'm thinking. Well, I'm gonna take a drink here, and then I think we're gonna use some Evil Sun Scarlet. And we're going to dry brush a little Evil Sun Scarlet all over her red there. And if you're not familiar with dry brushing, it's getting a little bit on your brush, and then you want to, as you can see, that I'm wiping off more as I go. I might have wiped off a little too much, but I want to get. I don't want to sit there and coat the model with this paint. I just want to go over those raised edges, leave those recesses a lot darker, and start making that model kind of making the cloth a little softer looking and stand out a little bit more. Might not show up too well on camera, but that's okay. We will be adding another color in here. All right. I paint? What do you mean? What do you mean, sir? I do actually. Well, and I'm probably gonna very soon probably have some new brushes to recommend for dry brushing. I really like the Citadel dry brushes. I think they are right now are the best. That's what I'm using right now, but it's an older one. I do like the Citadel dry brushes. Army Painter, their current line I do not like, but the Army Painter. Oh, sarcasm, gotcha. The Army Painter has a new Masterclass brush that is coming out, or Masterclass dry brushes, and I have not tried them yet because I don't. They might not even be available yet. I'll have to Google that. But as soon as those hit, I'm sure as heck going to get them because I was looking at them and they're very much like the one I'm using now. This kind of a rounded, soft tip. And if those end up being really good, then I am definitely switching over to them. There we go. Yeah, she's starting to come through. Starting to come through. Yeah, that's another way you can do that. I mean, I've got... heck, I've even used brushes that aren't even designed for dry brushing as dry brushes. But right now, I think Citadel has the best ones available that are easily accessible versus some other ones out there that, and also decent price. Trying to see if I can spot one of my brushes. Oh, the other thing that I like about the Citadel dry brushes is that they are, or they use, I think they use real horsehair versus the current line of brushes from the current line of dry brushes from the Army Painter. I could be wrong, but I think they are synthetic. So I'd notice a difference in the dry brushing, if that makes sense. You have 20 new Wolfen for me to paint. Fantastic. Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm down for that. Queen of Mars. This is not a dry... Oh, it is a dry brush. Holy crap. Haha. This is the large dry brush that Citadel puts out. I'm not super big fan of this. If I had to use a large dry brush, they actually have a brush called a... I think it's a... Gosh, you know, I think I'm going to have to Google it. Let me pull up a window here real quick. They have one particular brush that I am fond of that's not an actual dry brush, but it works like a charm. And I accidentally stepped on it. I broke it, so I don't have it to show you. But let me see if I can get the name of it. It's a little bit of a larger brush. And like I said, it's not ideal for, or it's not designed for dry brushing, but I find that it works a lot better. Okay, it's their large base brush. For some reason that, I'll put it up on screen here. Let's see, media source, window capture. There we go. The large base brush. I think I find that brush works really well, to be honest. It's worked well for me, but like I said, it's not designed for it. So, you know, buyer beware. But the rest of Citadel's line are really good. All right. And, okay, good. Yeah, I think that's a good choice. So I probably won't be doing any more dry brushing because I was dry brushing with this one and I was using red, and I have to actually use some soap to get the red out of here before I dry brush anything else. So I probably won't be dry brushing anything tonight. Maybe we'll see. The problem is that red, it's so hard to get it out of the brush. I mean, without using some soap. That's why I use a separate bottle or a separate water cup to wash out red and orange. All right, but we did soften her up a little bit there, and her chest is popping a little bit more there, so that's good. That'll make all the boys zombies happy. I don't know. I don't think that's a thing. All right, so we need to pull up that negative space. Let's see here. Rose, black, and white. Oof. Might not be able to do this on camera. I might have to really concentrate on this one. But you know what? What's the worst that'll happen? Everybody will laugh at me. Oh, man. Well, that wouldn't be any different than any other day. Alright, let's take a look at the rose, kind of a tribal, even though that doesn't quite fit. Alright. So, I'll show you guys what I'm going to attempt to do. If I mess it up, what are you going to do? Let's see if I can bring that down here. So I'm going to attempt to do probably not the whole stem, but something similar to that on over her right or her left breast. But we'll do that in white. We'll see if this works. If not, at least I tried, right? Go big or go home. Well, I'm already home, so I guess I got to go big. Alright. So we'll start with some Corax white. Get my palette over here a little closer. And just so you guys know, we are getting closer to our 50-person goal, and when I get to 50 followers here, that's when we'll do our first giveaway. And as soon as I find out the pricing for that brand new set, the Indominus box, if we have not hit 50 followers here or 100 followers over on the YouTube, all those links are below. What I will do is everybody that basically jumps through all the hoops and get likes and subscribes to everything, they will get entries into the contest to win that box. If I'm able to secure 2 boxes. There's some chatter right now that and I think the chatter's wrong, but they're saying that it's a limited edition. I think it's just that it's limited quantities. So as long as I throw money at the store, they will take my money and give me my box. Worst case scenario, I am splitting 2 boxes with somebody. They're getting both the Necrons and I'm getting both Marines. So if that's it, then I will start handing that extra box worth of Marines out to people. That's all I'll have. And I've got tons of other prize support here, giveaways. Everything's still new in box, so a lot to give away. So no matter what, stuff is going to be flying out the door here. All right, let's see if we can do this. This is going to be nervous here. All right, let's just do it. Am I even touching the model? Oh yeah, this is gonna be very difficult. I might have to grab a different brush. Need a different brush. All right. Let's go insane detail brush. It's your time to shine, my friend. It was a lot easier when I was drawing a rose symbol on a using the black Templar. All right. Man, I just cannot get enough paint on the brush here. It won't stay liquid enough. Well, as long as it looks close, that's all that matters. This is the problem with using these thinner brushes, is that they don't hold paint as well. They don't hold as much paint, so when you're trying to paint small areas like this, you end up running into some problems of not having enough paint. Plus it dries out really quick. Luckily, I should be able to go back in. With some of the red, and we'll be able to maybe clean up some of the areas. All right, we're not going to make this exact. We're going to do our best to. Good enough. Good enough. Looks like she's got something on there. I don't know. Could be a... good enough. I think good enough. Looks kind of flowery. Regardless, it made... The whole idea was to kind of break up just the monotony of just having a red outfit there. Alright. So I'm going to go back in, use some Corax white, because I need to make this belt pop, but I've got a little careless as usual with the contrast paint. So we're just going to go in and clean it up, which is at this stage is not too big of a deal, especially now that I've got the initial layering done for the red and oranges. The second dry brush layer I put on here, I used a little bit of the orange from Creature Caster mixed in with the Evil Sun Scarlet. Right now I'm just cleaning up any of that overspill of white, or of the red. So when I come back in, I don't need to work there. So I'm going to come back in and we're going to paint. Probably just go with some. Probably going to make those boots, and yeah, I think so. The boots and the belt will match, because your belt and shoes should match. So I'm thinking my favorite go-to right now has been Wildwood. She can afford a little bit higher quality boots over the common peasantry. So a little sturdier leather boots. So this is going to be Wildwood contrast straight out of the bottle. And I don't even want to thin it down. We're just going to go ahead and put it over her boots. And once that dries, we'll come back in. We'll work on her skin. But like I said, man, this contrast paint. The reason why I like using the contrast paints, especially on these type of models for board games, is you are cutting out about 2 steps, 1 to 2 steps, because of the way, as long as you're applying it the right way and you got a good undercoat and you're not like overdoing it on your brush, you can easily get your first kind of a layering done without having to actually go in with a layer paint. Not always, but usually. The darker colors, sometimes if you thin them down, some of those darker colors, if you thin down, they will end up surprising you. Like what we found out with Evil Ash's pants. We thinned down that snakebite leather and got a he still has his brown pants on, but it's a nice brown. So I'm happy with it. All right. So her boots. Let's go ahead and switch brushes over to my small layer brush. And we're going to try to very carefully paint her belt. Try not to get it on the reds, that we took extra care and start getting a couple layers on there. I'm still thinking I'm going to have to come back in. I think I need to do another kind of maybe a little bit more orange in there for that red. I'm not sure yet. Not a big fan of board games myself, but You know, I'll tell you, if they ever made a board game for, like, Cool Mini or Not was like, hey guys, we're going to do an anime board game based on Overlord. I would be in like Flynn. Alright, I see something interesting. Maybe this will help kind of enhance the model a little bit more. I'm seeing, it looks like on her gambeson here. I'm calling it a gambeson. It might not even be it might just be a tunic, but I'm going to call it a gambeson because she's a knight. I'm calling her a knight. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I don't know. I really don't even care, to be honest with you, how it would play. I just want the miniatures. I just want Albedo. Albedo is best waifu, best girl. So as long as I have Albedo, I'm happy. I would just love to be able to paint the miniatures. Really, that's the only reason why I would want the game. Is because those miniatures would be, I think, amazing. Albedo is still the best girl out of there, but man, look at this structure on this model. She has an awfully thick neck, man. I wonder if she's like, they work with Neil Druckmann for, I better not say anything about that. Better not say anything about that game, because then I'm sure I'll get flagged. Alright. Like I said, she was this knight lady right here. I'm sure she has a name, but they don't exactly tell me. So, she was asleep, didn't have time to put on her armor. So that's why she just threw on her gambeson here, that heavy quilted armor. Grabbed her swords to go chop on the zombies. And threw on her boots. Those boots are made for walking. Or running through the streets, chopping up zombies, or running for your life, whatever. But that's why she is not wearing pants. And really, I mean, like that character, I think it's Chiatsu or something like that, on, you ever watch Jormungand? She actually performed better at killing people when she wasn't wearing underwear, so, you know, maybe this swordswoman likes going to fight with without her knickers on. Who knows? Who knows what her story is? All that matters right now is that we're getting her painted. I'm using tanned flesh from Creature Caster, by the way, for the flesh. It's a little, even though it's called tanned flesh, it's actually a little lighter than Cadian Flesh Tone from Citadel. And I imagine that this lady does not get too much sun, as she's spending most of her time in armor and stuff, so I want it to be a little bit lighter skin tone. Sorry, I'm not checking chat. I'll look at it in just a moment. Alright. So, coming along. She's definitely popping now. Definitely popping. Not sure. You know what? I feel like she should have brown hair. Thinking brown hair. Yeah. Looks like I got a little bit of that mixture from the brown pants. So, yeah. Yeah, she's a brunette. So why boys, men, whatever, have brown hair, but girls have they're brunettes? I mean, is that the same? Isn't that the same thing? But you don't say a guy is a brunette. Is that a thing? Am I wrong about that? Alright. Well, regardless, she had enough time to do her hair before she went into battle. So she is coming along. We're going to let her rest for a moment because I put on several colors there. So, before anything overlaps, I want to give it a time to dry a little bit. And we can come back to Beefy Boy. Like I said, Beefy Boy here, we're going to give him a wash. All right, I'm going to take a drink and choose my color. Thinking Warp Lightning. Oh, and thanks to generous donations so far. I'm shopping for, we've got enough from Mr. Johnson. Thank you once again to get a not only new lighting, but a boom arm for the camera. So a little bit of better control of how the camera is positioned. So really excited about that. Really excited. All right. All right. This might be still a little too thick here. We'll find out. Yeah. Let me wick that up. I need to thin that down just a little bit more. It's almost 4-to-1. Yeah, this is a 4-to-1 mixture of Warp Lightning. There we go. I don't know why I chose green. I guess maybe purple would have been nice. I can actually still go in with the purple. I just wanted it I didn't want it like to be overwhelmingly green. I just wanted a little bit of green in there. Because I wanted most of that skin tone, the thinned down skeleton horde to shine through more. But I'll let some of this Warp Lightning contrast soak down into those recesses and kind of stain the skin a little bit. So like I said, once all that is dry, we're going to come back over anyways and pick out the fleshy details, so it's not, it's not the end of the world if something's a little too green, because we're going to come back and tinker with his flesh a little bit, or a lot actually. So actually, I think I just convinced myself to go ahead as soon as that's dry. We will come back in and experiment with a little bit of purple, especially right there around his rib cage. It's like exploded outwards. I think what we'll do is maybe some bruising around there, and then underneath there I'll make that kind of a little bit more fleshy, and maybe some red. We might even put some blood splatter there. But our abomination is looking a little bit more greenish. I'm going to wick up a little bit of this, and the wicking up just kind of help prevent some of that too much pooling down those recesses. I don't want too much pooling. I don't want too much green down there, but there we go. All right, he's kind of looking like a sickly yellowish green right now. Once again, I know the camera's not doing it justice, but well, actually, you know what? I got to remember that you guys are seeing something different than I am with my TV. It's all washed out, but yeah, you guys are seeing the green. Never mind, I stand corrected. All right, so gonna let him dry. And let's get over here to Evil Troy. Let me check time. Oh yeah, man, we got plenty of time. Let's deal with Evil Troy. What a name. I know they couldn't call him Ash, but come on, guys. Everybody knows it's Ash. And I'm pretty sure those guys would have been like, yeah, dude, you can totally make a character based on Ash. You have our permission. They probably wouldn't have even asked for any money. Though there was talk, I don't know if you're a fan of the Evil Dead movies, but there was talk that they might be making a new one with him, like a continuation of the Evil Dead or the Army of Darkness. I know they kind of did with the TV show, but there was chatter about it. So I wouldn't mind seeing it. So what I did is thin down the Black Templar, because we're going to come back through and do some metallic highlights, but I wanted to get because his armor looked like it was really dark, really black, so I wanted to figured I can do this right here, use a thin down Black Templar, almost kind of give it a gray look. I could have probably used Basilicanum gray contrast, but I am running out, and that is being saved for another project. I'm painting some terrain for the Atomic Hobby Shop. So I need to make sure I save it. Alright. Looks like he has some extra armor on his arms here. And I think what we're going to do is, since this is supposed to be like Evil Ash from the Evil Dead, I think what I'm going to do is, he has a t-shirt, or not a t-shirt, but he has a long sleeve shirt on underneath, and if I remember correctly, in the movie, Ash was wearing a blue shirt in the Army of Darkness. That's it, Army of Darkness, haha. Been butchering the name of that movie now this whole time, and nobody said anything. So I think what I'll do is make his shirt, the little bit that can be seen, we'll make it blue. Just making sure I get all the spots that need to be the armor black. All right. Now, all right. So as that Black Templar there dries, or as soon as it's dry, then I'll go back in. We'll highlight with some Runefang Steel, probably, or you know what? We'll start with Leadbelcher, see how I feel, and then we might add another layer with the Runefang Steel in a couple spots. But I don't really see this guy as having like bright, shiny armor as Evil Troy. But what we will do right now is, instead of a thin down Black Templar, I feel like his cloak is going to be a little bit more, well, you know, we'll still keep it thin down, but I'm going to add some Black Templar so it's a little darker here on the cape. I want his cape to be a little bit darker than the armor. I might have to put a second layer down, or not. We might be able to get by with hitting it with some Nuln Oil. Want to watch the pooling with this stuff. Get down those recesses, get underneath there. By pooling, you can see it's a little bit darker there. That's just how it's just, that's the excess that just stopped from flowing. And I don't necessarily, there's some places I don't want it. So far it's okay, but I'd be concerned on some areas with this contrast paint is if it hit kind of a brighter area that I did not want to, especially with brighter colors, that I did not want it to be on there because it can stain and basically kind of do a coffee stain. When it dries, there'll be like two shades there, one lighter shade of black, or so almost gray, if that makes sense, and then you would have like this little odd shaped dot of black that was either darker or lighter than the surrounding area. So I'd like to try to avoid that, but here I think we're going to be fine. It looks like we're going to be fine because the cape is still darker than the armor, which is that's the goal. I need it to be dark. I wanted it darker than the armor anyways, and I'm okay right now with the way it's laying there on the cape. That's okay, because we're gonna kind of go in and dirty that cape up a little bit, or dry it out a little bit, make it look like an old crusty cape. And I've got a little bit of this black Templar left, because I'm pretty sure Ash was wearing black shoes or black boots in Army of Darkness. So we're just going to go ahead and just make these boots black. Just straight black Templar, not even thinned down. It'll dry and it'll show some of the textures that's on the shoes, especially as I sit here and wipe some of it off. And then I can go in and pick out some details with some gray if I want to. So I know he's not looking too pretty right now, but he will. We're getting there. As usual, everything needs layers and layers. So let's go check on our Scarlet Warrior here. All right. Skin's looking good. It's nice and dry. So you guys probably notice I'm jumping around between like 3 or 4 miniatures. And that's just so you guys are not stuck with me just watching me paint one model, and B, I don't get bored just painting one model. And I like to essentially do an assembly line of miniatures. That way I'm constantly working on several different models. While one is drying, I can move on to the next one, rinse and repeat, and keep doing that. So that is why I do that, in case anybody's wondering. So I'm tacking on or slapping in, a little too heavy there, a little too much is on my brush. Let me put it there in camera a little bit closer. Some Reikland Flesh Shade. I'm not too sure. Yeah, well, doesn't matter if I was sure about it or not. I've already laid it down, so this is just the adding on to the base paint, which was that tan flesh from Creature Caster. And I'm just doing this so that it kind of darkens up the skin, gets a little bit more of a natural luster to it, a little natural flesh tone. There's a variety of different colors. I mean, I've got Gilliman flesh, Fire Slayer flesh, one other I can't think of off the top of my head that's over there I could use, but this one, it's nice to go with that. So it really helps kind of pop out those details on the face, the clavicle there. Not too much. She doesn't have too much detail on the rest of her, on her legs, but it's the kind of that staining effect that goes on the flesh to make that look a lot better, look a lot more realistic, especially as it kind of settles in on those recesses. That it ends up doing. Looking pretty good. Her hair's looking good. Armor, swords. Swords, since she is a knight. Well, yeah, she's a knight. I'm going to stick to that story. She's a knight. So, since she is a knight, she has a little bit higher quality blades. So, over that Grey Knight steel, doing some Drakenhof Nightshade, and then we'll go back in once it's dry, and we'll use some Runefang steel to clean up and brighten up those blade edges, make it look a little bit more like a sword. But I wanted to get down there, especially for those blood grooves, make this whole thing look a little bit more realistic. Did I have to do it? No, but you know, the client's paying me to do a good job, and so far he's been happy with everything I've done, so why stop now? Why stop now? All right, so, oh, no. Whew. Got a little bit on her leg there. All right, so we're going to let her dry, and we're going to go take a look at the green abomination. Oh, man, that flesh is looking good. See, here's some of the staining I was talking about. You can see that brown dot right there. That's just out there on a flat surface. I would not have wanted that. A little bit more there. But, you know, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to clean that up. So, before we clean it up, we're doing one more contrast. One more contrast paint. We're going to put this down in the recesses. We're really going to thin this down. The Magos purple. I'll try to get as much the medium on there as possible. I really don't even want a lot of the Magos purple, but I do want to get it in there in some spots, especially there. And it's that little chest cavity area, or right underneath his rib cage that's cracked open there. I like to get some purples down in there. Yeah. It looks maybe some bruising around. It looks like it's got some muscle strains right there. I can see some sinew coming out from whatever caused him to mutate like this. So I think there'll be some bruising. So we're just going to add in a little bit of purple down in there, some of those extra recesses. Wick that up a little bit. It's a little too much. Yeah. All right. So while that front is drying, underneath that armpit, we can see if this is going to work. I'm going to think it'll work. I think it will. So I'm going to take some tan flesh. Looking at it, tan flesh and maybe a little bit of white. Yeah, a little white. Little bolt titanium white, both from Creature Caster. No, I'm not sponsored by Creature Caster. I just like their paints. They're really so damn good. So good. All right. Let me grab a new paper towel to dry, or to do this little bit of a dry brush. So be a little bit more of a wetter dry brush, but dry brush nonetheless. All right, we'll start with his back. I'm not sure about this color smalls. You know what? We're going to go with it, and because I can always add another layer of flesh over it, because I'd like to bring it back up to a little bit more of a fleshy standard. So, but if I use this a little too light, that's just fine, because then that light dry brushing will make that it easier for that flesh tone to transition on there. If any of that made sense. By having that lighter color, it's just going to be easier. It's almost like I just put white over that, which in a way I did, because there was white in there, a little too much white. All right, there we go. Yeah. All right, that's starting to come through. Yeah. Oh, that flesh, I'm liking it. Don't need it everywhere. I need it his flesh to really look like it's undergoing this horrible metamorphosis, which it is. So some areas are like green, some areas are fleshy, Some areas will be a little bruised. Like I said, I can get messy, especially around the cloth area, because I don't need to mess with the cloth right now. So getting a little bit of an over brush or paint splatter, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you call it, is not going to hurt. All right. So he's got this weird explosion of flesh. I'm going to check how you guys are seeing it. Weird explosion of flesh and bruising. Oh yeah. This dude is not having a good day. Not having a good day. All right. Let's get some other colors in there now, so I can come back in and do some actual brush work later with for the colors. So let's get him. You know what? I really think we need a darker color and then a bright. Yeah. Okay. Wildwood, my go-to. The wildwood. Thinking we're gonna do wildwood on his pants and his little sock down there. And then his, whatever's left of his tunic there around his head and his body and wrapped around his waist. Probably thinking probably a little bit of, I'll probably go with some snake bite leather, straight snake bite leather, nothing thinned down. Just to be a little different, so he doesn't match Evil Ash's pants. All right. We'll leave his socks a different color. I'm not sure. Might even make those socks kind of like a tan color. I don't know. But I don't want to get too much color in there, because I feel like this guy's, based on his clothing, and I know, we can do whatever we want here, but based on his clothing, he looks like he's a peasant, and he was a victim of some necromancer dude. I was like, hey, I want to make you big and buff, whether you want to or not. And not too happy about it. That's why he looks like he's about ready to rage quit or Hulk smash somebody. All right. Oh, give me a second to stretch. Realize I'm a little tensed up. Oh. All right, here we go. And we're just on the what's left of his tunic here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that with snake bite leather. Yep, always remember to stretch. I've gone like an hour and a half without stretching, which shame on me. I try to do it about every 30 minutes, so I don't tense up. And also, especially when I'm painting, because I also get a stress headache. I got all these lights on me and lights shining down here, that if I don't take a moment to loosen up, get loosey-goosey, then could run into some painting errors. Or I get so tensed up that somebody hits a sound effect and I jump out of my skin again. But I was smart. I'm smart now. I'm wise to it. get that volume turned down so it doesn't necessarily scare the crap out of me. Again. Alright. So let's take a look at what we got so far there. Oh, yeah. Yep, I'm digging that. He's looking. Yeah. Hell yeah, victory. Man, that... Yeah. Got definitely some earthy tones going on there. It's working. It's working for him. Work it, girl. Work it. Be that model. Be that zombie model that you always wanted to be. Live your dream. You beautiful, giant, hulking abomination. Realize your goal. That might be a... should be like a zombie support group. Like, Dave... You don't always have to try to eat brains. You know, maybe like the zombie support group, you know, if you can go, you know, a month without eating a human or infecting somebody, you get like a coin. You know, and I'm not making fun of anybody that, you know, is going to any sort of rehab type thing, but, you know, I feel like a support group for zombies would be, you know, intelligent zombies. The mindless zombies, they're a different breed. But I feel like a zombie support group anime would be good. Oh, never mind. I think there kind of already is one. If you guys have not, if you guys have not seen the anime Zombieland Saga, oh my god, oh, that's a good one. You will be tickled. Zombieland Saga. That tickled my fancy, man. In fact, I might even have to, like, after tonight's stream, I might have to rewatch that. I just got done rewatching for like the 4th or 5th, 6th, 7th time, I think now. Oh no. Overlord. So I need something else to watch. I mean, I've got a bunch of shows that I've been watching, but I have not, for some reason, I've taken a break from those new shows. I don't know why, which is a shame because they're really good. I don't know what's going through my brain pan. The Zombieland Saga, that's a lot. That is definitely a fun anime to watch, if you like anime. If you like music... You like, not music. Oh, yeah, music. If you like zombies, you like different take on zombies, besides like The Walking Dead and stuff, you might like that. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I only got 3 more of these exact same guy I've got to paint. I just looked over into the box and I saw the shelf underneath. The one that had this guy on it and all the rest of the heroes. There's 2 more sitting underneath there, so I'm going to get a lot of practice. A lot of practice painting abominations. But that brown is looking good, man. It's looking tight. That looks good. I mean, to me, it looks good. If you don't like it, then okay. I think, though, I will make sure that everybody, all of them match, though, because I don't... yeah. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll kind of change it up. And you know what? Just to help frame this guy... We're going to go ahead and apply that snakebite leather to what's left of his socks. Because I imagine it's not like this guy was wearing Argyle socks or anything, or silk dress socks. He probably had some wool spun socks. Nothing fancy. The same ones he wears like 3 days in a row. Sells for $100 on his OnlyFans page. So, looking good, man. He's looking mean. He's about ready to do some Hulk smashing. Or abomination smashing. Alright, let's do something about those spikes. Oh, dang it. I missed. He's got a swath of cloth on his forearm. And I missed another spot, so let's get that taken care of. Should have taken care of that first, or should have looked first before closing that bottle. Yeah, definitely looking forward to getting that camera boom arm thingy. So that will definitely, I think I bumped the camera like 3 or 4 times tonight, which I apologize for. That will get ordered probably tomorrow, along with the new lighting. Trying to find the right lighting. I don't want to get cheap lighting. I want to get something that's gonna do what I need it to do and last. If that makes sense. Basically, like anything else, you do get good quality products. You know, I can operate with some bad quality brushes, but I think some better quality equipment would really help the stream. It's really, believe it or not, it's not even for me. 'Cause, I mean, my lighting is fine. I can see just fine. Camera's just fine for me, but it's better quality equipment I can get so I can provide better quality content for you all, which is the reason why I set up that donation or the support button down below and everything. That's the only reason there. All right. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. And I will be in town on Thursday. Dude, this guy's dead. Man, I'm loving this dude. I am loving this dude. Oh, man, I'm having a lot of fun. You know what? I might even just... I don't even think... I'm going to put my Marines off to the side. I don't even want to even think about doing Space Marines right now. This guy is getting a lot of my attention. So, thinking... and I might have to... I'm not sure how to darken it down, but I just want to splash it in there. I'm going to use some blood for the blood god. And we're going to kind of dab that underneath there. I want that to look bloody underneath there, like his chest just cracked and erupted. You can see some of the fleshiness, or the blood is. I mean, it might be coagulating because it is a zombie, but I feel like that needs to be bloody underneath that chest there, and probably not there. Yeah, we're gonna leave that alone. But yeah, we got some blood down there in that chest cavity, because that just exploded when he got really big. Trying to find the right. Alright, is this a good angle? Perfect. Alright. So I think we need to go ahead and grab some Corax White. Let's take care of that rope. Shouldn't have hung him. Should have just let that guy, you know, I mean, it probably didn't really do anything wrong. Probably like got some bread, stole some bread or something. I mean, I guess stealing bread is wrong, but you know, when there's a zombie plague going on, you don't want to make more zombies, so killing somebody probably not the smartest thing, because all you're doing is just making more. And one zombie just kind of makes more. I mean, it just becomes potentially exponentially more zombies. So I'm just going in right now with that Korax White as a base. That way I can come back and we're gonna do something different with that rope. Not sure yet what, but once that dries, then I'm gonna want that to really stand out against that flesh. All right, and he's got a little bit of a drawstring down there, so let's go ahead and grab some Ushbati bone. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's what I'm calling it. He's got like a cloth drawstring. So we're just kind of doing that there. All right. Still got a little bit of white. Go ahead and get some white up, that Korax White up here on his teeth, just to start. Then we can come through and we'll brighten that up. But try very carefully to dot the eye, literally. A little bit of Korax White, perfect. Try to get over there. Just a little bit. Perfect. So we're going to come back in, probably with some red, fist on red or something, and dot that in there. Thinking some bright green eye or bright red eyes. So we're gonna let all that white that we just dropped down dry a little bit, and then we're gonna tinker with the teeth and that rope. But in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and hit these. I don't know what those are. Like some sort of bone growth, some bone spurs maybe. Not sure, but we'll start with a darker base and work our way up. Use some more gassed bone from Citadel. It's a base paint. And those are not familiar, the base paints are, well, you put them down as a base. They've got a lot of pigment in them. They're great for getting that initial coat down. And we got to thin it down just a little bit, because it can be pretty gosh darn thick. Like that Korax White, no matter what I do, I've got to thin it down. It's very thick, but that gets a nice color on there, and we're going to make that look more like bone as we apply a wash, and then add a couple layers of Ushbati bone and white on there as well. But man, our bruiser here is starting to look pretty gosh darn menacing. Wish I knew how he got such a tiny waist, man. Kind of jealous there. Kind of jealous. Maybe I need to lay off the bagels. If I stop eating bagels every day, maybe I could have abs like that or a waist like that. Maybe. But I do like my donuts and my bagels, so yeah. It's a give or take. Give or take. All right. I think that Korax White is ready for us. I'm thinking that we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to use some Agrax Earthshade on that noose and the rope going down. I think that will take care of all of our problems. Give it it might be, oh man, I think maybe that won't take care of all of our problems. I think it just made problems. I might have to go through, I'll have to go back through with some white to, once that's dry. Well, it needed to happen anyways, but it's blending in with the flesh a little too much, so I'll go back through with some white, and we'll make that look like a more of a rope instead of, I mean, that hemp rope would normally be a little bit darker anyways, but it's still blending in with the flesh. So I'll go back in. We'll make it white, like a definite white highlights in there. And for his mouth, we're just going to go ahead and jam some Known oil down inside of that mouth. He's got a dirty mouth. He's not used Orbit's gum. I think it's Orbit's gum. Dirty mouth, I think. Well, it's been a while since I've seen those commercials. We're just going to go ahead and drop that in there. It also kind of, you can see how the mouth is forming now. So that Known oil settled in the back. I'll be able to go back in with some white. But this is coming along. I'm happy with the progress so far. Might not have been the cleanest, but since this has been pretty much an experiment and using some of these colors, flesh and everything, normally I've got a good idea of what I'm wanting to do with my models before, but sometimes I just like to have fun and do some experimenting, like what we're doing right now, just experimenting. Got a little too much. We'll have to clean all that up. Nothing wrong with doing some experimenting with the paints, because the great thing is with these paints, you can cover up. All right. Now, I'm not too worried about mixing too many of this white in with the brown, because that Agrax Earthshade, it's already drying. If I get a kind of if it runs together, it's going to end up making kind of a nice complementary shade anyway, so I don't mind going in right now with the white, and we're going to do our best to try to leave some of those coil marks, and in some cases probably make some artificial ones. There we go. Got that to stand out a little bit better. Since that red that I put in those eyeballs is a little too dark for my taste, see if I can squeeze in a little bit of, see if I can just dot that eye again. A little too much. That's not too bad. All right, and we're almost done with this guy. Getting there. You can see, like I said right now, like look at how that on his the brown there and that snakebite leather. As that contrast settles, it'll settle into some darker areas and leave lighter areas. So if I wanted to later on, if I felt if I was getting a little froggy or a little frisky or whatever, not frisky, but froggy, I could go in with a lighter brown, and you can see those lighter brown lines there where the contrast is receded, and I could use that as essentially a tracing to kind of trace for the lighter color to kind of do some layering if I felt like it. I still might feel like it, but right now I'm satisfied with the way this is going. So I'm not going to complain too much right now, or not even at all. But the way that stuff settles down in there, it essentially takes up 2 steps. Normally you would put down your layer, then you would put down a shade, and then you would step in or not a layer, you put down your base, then you drop a shade, then you'd put a couple layers down. Well, by using the contrast and just one base paint, you're kind of knocking out two whole steps at least. That's why I really like these, especially for these type of projects, these board game miniatures. It's really ideal. Now with the other models, like some of the Game Workshop models, and you can still use them for that, but I prefer to use a variety of techniques. And even after, like on Space Marines, even after I use a contrast paint, I still want to go in and add some layers, which is perfectly fine. You can do, remember, they're your models, guys and gals. You can do as much as you want with them, or as little as you want, however you want to look at that. Just remember that. If you want to get super crazy, then you know what? You get super crazy. Hey, I don't know if you're still on there, Mr. Jimmy Johnson, but of those, you mentioned that you had some Wolfen you would like me to paint. How? And I think you said 20. Are they built, or do I need to build them and to paint them? What's up? And I just put Agrex Earthshade on those little bone protrusions coming out of his forearms. So next week, I'm heading up to Dallas this week, so there probably will not be a show Thursday or Friday. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt it. And then, but I will have a couple episodes for those already prepped and ready to go, and I'll get them uploaded onto the. Excuse me. I'll have those set up on the YouTube channel, so watch for those. Probably I'll get those uploaded tomorrow night, and then for Thursday and Friday. So I will have a couple videos, and I'm working on still trying to learn how to do editing. I've got a couple tutorial videos. I'm going to be using these type of models right here. That they're just quick and easy techniques. What you can do in 5 minutes. So, and to get from the beginning when there was nothing here to this. I know there's a lot of videos out there that are like, let me grab it. Give me 1 second. All right. So there's some videos out there, or even pictures like, okay, so here's your model, and here you go. Now you're done. So it's like, it just jumps from one to the other with not a lot of work. I mean, so I want to be able to do some just basic, like, guys, I'm not trying to teach you guys how to do some award winning, even though that, locally some of these might win some awards. But what I want to do is just help you get paint on your models so you can start playing with them and be at ease with it, and just teach you some simple techniques to make them look good, nice, high quality, without having to spend hundreds of hours. Which, if you want to spend, I've seen some people spend like 100 hours just on one model to win awards, then that's different. But if you just want to hurry up and burn through, like this box set that this guy comes in, there's 50 models. I don't want to spend that would be 5,000 hours painting every single one to that standard. To if I wanted to spend 100 hours per model to get all all sorts of natural looking things going on. I want to try to keep it as simple as possible, make them look good and relatively lifelike. I want those details in there. I want everything to look well animated, I guess, the best way I can describe it. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but I want to keep it simple. Not that you guys are simple, but I want simple techniques, because a lot of you don't have time to paint, or you maybe don't have the patience, or you don't have all the equipment. And especially those of you that have high stress jobs, you got kids, spouses, the works, and you don't have time to be playing with your little plastic toy soldiers. So if I can teach you some simple techniques, then I would call that a win. Alright, so I'm using some Runefang steel. I'm just going down. I want to keep that blood groove there in the center. So I'm just got some Runefang steel on my brush here, and I'm just using the flat edge of my brush to do that. Just kind of put it at about a 45-degree angle. Alright, so still maintain that blood groove down in the center. The model's still looking fresh. That blade still now the blade looks razor sharp, which is understandable. I mean, she is a knight of the White Rose, or whatever it is I called her. So she should have a well-honed blade ready to do slicing and dicing and all the type of things you do with the undead. The rose there, it's not the prettiest rose, but given that the area, I think it's good enough. Does the job. Now right now I'm not going to tinker with the eyes. The client didn't want anything with the eyes, so I'm not going to mess with the eyes. So I'm not going to even tinker with that. Sorry, not sorry. Eyes are a pain in the butt, and I can do lenses okay. I'm still working on relearning how to do eyes. I've been doing them one way for a long time. I've never really been satisfied with it, and I just started learning a new way. So I'm not going to be till I'm comfortable where I can do it without having to go back and use the video as a reference over and over again. I'm not going to be messing with eyes with this project. And thankfully the client did not ask for the eyes to be done. I'm assuming that since this collar, it's like a wider on one side than the other, so I'm just going along with that. I don't know if it was a goof up in the manufacturing process, sculpting process, but I am just going to follow it. Let's see, Klopfoot, what are your thoughts on units like Wolfen and Death Company that aren't Primaris Marines? Will they get new models in the future, or will they remain relevant in their current form for a while? I think, that's a very complicated. So let's break this down. So Death Company and Wolfen. Wolfen and Death Company. I think they're going to stay as they are right now, Klopfoot. Because they started like in the last, I don't think it was the last Blood Angel Codex, but I think it's in the Blood Angel Blood of Baal Psychic Awakening book that you can now make intercessor units. I think they're an elite choice, but intercessor Death Company models. So you can have Death Company that are Primaris, and I imagine that those Assault Marines that are going to be coming out, the Assault Intercessors, will be able to become Death Company as well. I think that they are still. I mean, I've seen them in competitive play all the time. Wolfen and Death Company are choice units now for both Space Wolves and Blood Angels. I mean, they're highly effective and inexpensive. Highly effective. And the way that this new rule system is shaping up, they're going to kind of have more of a, I mean, they haven't gone away, but they're kind of going to kind of have a renaissance in a way. And I think I see Thunderwolf Cavalry and Thunderwolf characters making a return with the way that close combat is starting to shape up and the way the games are going to be playing. So I think Wolfen will definitely remain in their current form. I don't think they'll be Primaris, not for, I would say not for 10 years maybe. Who knows? They might end up by the time, maybe in this 9th edition, we might see them. I don't know. But I think that they'll keep them as is because it's a good model. It's a recent kit, and they sell well. So I don't see them necessarily getting... I think they're going to be fine in their current form. But I think that Death Company will eventually go away, but not for a while. Definitely not for a while, because those things sell, man. And the Games Workshop will get rid of stuff that really, they'll start moving stuff out that doesn't sell, doesn't fit the narrative quite well. That's my opinion. So who knows? I could be wrong. Y'all can just say, John, you're stupid. They'll never get rid of this or that. I don't know. But I really don't think Death Company, I think the Death Company box itself might go on the wayside just because things are moving more and more towards Primaris. I still think we're about 5 to 7 years away, at least one more edition before the current or the regular Marines or the Firstborn, whatever you want to call them, before they go away. I think we're still about I think by now we're at like we're about a 5-year mark maybe. Because I thought about 5 to 10 years, so 5 more years would be the 8-year mark. So I would say about 8 years. Yeah, I'd say about 5 more years, and they'll be gone. One more edition, and they'll be gone. So I went in right here since this is supposed to be Evil Ash or Evil Troy, as they're calling them. I went in, and that is just some ultramarine blue. Because I remember Ash in the Evil Dead or the Army of Darkness had a blue shirt on and the brown pants. So just trying to match it as much as possible. And while that, I don't know if I answered your question, Clapfoot. If I didn't, let me know. Alright, so a little bit of lead belcher. Normally I try not to use base paints for dry brushing, but we're going to try this anyways. Yeah, that was a good call. We're just doing it over that thin down black Templar I put over him, just on his armor, just so we're getting most of those raised edges there. And then we're gonna, as soon as I'm done with this, then we'll hit that same bit with some Runefang steel and lighten it up even more. Now, I don't know exactly how effective all those units are going to be, but to me, that new edition looks like they are going to be baller, dude. I mean, like right now, close combat armies are kind of fell on the wayside and the current 8th edition for Warhammer 40,000, but I foresee them getting a nice resurgence, at least up to the same or almost the same level as shooters. Now they might not still be there because I think the rules are still in favor of shooters, but I think that close combat guys will be brought up dramatically. I'm not sure about the Thunderwolf. I mean, if you're not sure right now, unless you're going to get yourself like a 50% off or roughly like 45-50% off deal right now with Wolfen or Thunderwolf Cavalry, whatever, I personally would hold off. That way you could see what the rules are going to be like, because I would hate for anybody to buy up a brand new army right now when we don't know how all these different units are going to be affected. We know everybody's going to be going up in points, and we know that armies are going to, I mean, there's big dramatic changes across pretty much the entire game, if I'm being honest. So I would, before you buyer beware. But if you really like those, man, then you get them. I just don't think they're going to go away. The Wolfen are just too good. They're such an amazing kit, and they sell well. So I personally don't see them going away, man. That's me. I mean, if out of all those kits, I definitely foresee Death Company being the ones that would disappear first. But even then, until they come out with a compatible kit, I'll tell you what. When you see intercessors, a Blood Angel Intercessor or Primaris Death Company box, then you'll know that the original box is going away. And that's pretty much that'll be the death knell for those original, the firstborn or whatever. I just put in some Agrax Earthshade over that Morghast bone on his skull cap there, and that was Lead Belcher, and then a layer of or dry brush layer of Runefang Steel over his armor. So it's still kind of black, but it's in between being that Black Templar and the whatever you called it, the Black Templar. So before I tinker with that cloak, I do want to darken it up. It's a little too light, so we're gonna just slap some Nolan oil down in there. That will also help kind of dry it out. Give it a kind of, for some reason, I put Nolan oil over the black cloaks or the Black Templar contrast. It ends up like drying it out or give it kind of a dry look, which is good because I didn't want a shiny glossy cape. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just doing that to kind of darken it up, or stain it, if you will. And then once that's dry, we'll go in and pick out some more details on that cloak. We want it to pop a little bit more. While we got it, we're going to go ahead and he's going to have a darker sword, so we're going to use that Nolan oil that's there. Put that there. I feel like I'm going to go ahead and put some Nolan oil in the recesses of that armor. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Evil Ash. I'm good, Ash. You're bad, Ash. No. You're bad, Ash. I'm good, Ash. Alright. See you later, Grandpa Strange. Thanks for watching. Alright. This is Bad Ash, and he is looking pretty bad. In a good way. Not a bad way. At least I think he's looking good. And the client has yet to be upset with what I've done. So, I'm not going to complain. I don't know what I'm going to do to his face because as I remember this model and as I'm looking at his face, I'm going to have to go look at some actual photographs of Evil Ash. I know his face is like all messed up. It's got blood and gristle and tissue and everything kind of falling off and bruising. So before I tinker with his flesh on his hands and his face, I'm going to have to go look. So we're not going to do any more with him tonight, except I think, even though I like the brown pants, I feel like it's just feels a little off for me. So I'm thinking we're experimenting. So we're just going to put a thin layer of Agrax Earthshade. Yeah, there was something off. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I feel better now. It might have been just too light or too plain. Maybe it's just a little little bit of gloss. That's the word I was looking for. There was a little bit of a glossy sheen to it, and I didn't like that. So there we go. Even though it's glossy now with, but that's just because it's wet. But once that dries, it'll dry those pants out, and probably on tomorrow's show, we'll go back in, and we'll right around his knees, right there. Even though they're kind of thinned out already, we'll put some wear and tear on those knees, some artificial wear and tear, and kind of lighten it up a little bit, like the pants have been, well, worn, if that makes any bit of sense. Cloak is coming along. It's definitely looking dry. All right, we're looking good now. All right, get him out of the way. All right, I'm gonna take a drink real quick here. All right, I lied a little bit. I said I wasn't going to work on a Marine, but those guys are all done. I should have probably had one more of those not Kingdom Death. Gosh, man, if I was doing Kingdom Death models right now, I would have to be putting up a not safe for work warning or whatever, not for kids or whatever. But the zombie side models. Man, I wish I was working on some Kingdom Death models. That would be a blast. Alright, since this is my Blade Guard veteran, and all my sergeants and veteran guys have been getting the white or the red plumes, even though he's probably a first company veteran, we're still gonna give him the red plume because he's not an HQ. But what I have been doing for them is giving them that white part of that helm. So the Incursor models, do I like the models or the unit? I'm not sure what exactly you're. I just want to be clear on what you're asking. The models, yeah, I do like the models. I do. Yeah, but yeah, because I mean it's basically the same thing. It's just they have a different helmet, if I remember. Oh, goodness, I'm sorry, I'm burping here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to just take a look because I just want to make sure I'm thinking about the right ones. Because I know it's the same. The Infiltrator and Incursor is the same kit. And I know they have different weapons, and I think they have different backpacks. But I don't remember. Oh yeah, they got the big the backpack with the targeting. That, well, to me it looks like it's a targeter. Yeah, it's. I'll tell you what I don't like, and this goes for all the Infiltrator and the Incursors. I'm not a big fan of their helmets. So when I have an opportunity, I like getting the helmets for the Reavers, the Primaris Reavers. I love those helmets, and if I can, any of those type of helmets, I did find a guy that does 3D printed ones. I'm working on getting my own 3D printer, so I'll just probably end up making my own skull-faced ones. But yeah, I do like the models. I do like that Phobos armor that those Primaris guys use. Yeah, I would say yes, if that answers your question. I think they're very nice model. That Phobos armor I really like because it looks like it's light. Well, obviously it's lightweight, and I like lightweight, streamlined armor like that. I just don't really use that unit myself because they're a little too expensive, and they don't fit my ideas of warfare with Space Marines. I get better use out of the Infiltrators. So for me, I prefer the infiltrators over those. Right now, kind of doing things a little out of order on this Blade Guard veteran conversion. Normally I'd go ahead and put some black Templar down in those recesses, but I've got some Evil Sun Scarlet on my palette. I want to go ahead and use that on the shoulder trim. And if I mess up and I get black Templar on it, it's not like I can't clean it up, but use this paint before it goes or dries up. Been thinking that with this red that I've been doing, I think I am. I've started experimenting with a 1-to-1 mix of this Evil Sun Scarlet with the orange from Creature Caster, and thinking that I will be using that as a edge highlight for the armor, or for the shoulder pad, or on the outside, the outer rim. Not the outer rim as in like Star Wars, but the outer part of the shoulder pad. I messed up and got a little bit on red on that collar there, so I'm just trying to clean it up. All right. Yep, he's got fleshy arms. Those arms are actually from the Adeptus Custodes Venatari. So I wanted one guy that looked like he's a badass. These guys are badasses. They're whatever the Blade Guard veterans are. They are badasses. I'm imagining, and he's very confident. Yeah, he doesn't need that armor. So, all right, let's go ahead and get a little bit of Drakenhof Nightshade. Get that on that blade so we can start tinkering with that blade. Still an Evil Ash. I think we're done with Evil Ash and the rest of those models. I'll show you. I think looks like they're almost all dry, so I'll show you what the finished or near finished product is, and we'll finish up all the highlights probably tomorrow, since we're gonna wrap up here shortly. So get that Drakenhof Nightshade on there, let it settle, and then we're just gonna go in and hit Runefang Steel on that blade edge, and then we're going to come through with the Stormhost Silver over that to really kind of brighten it up. Alright, so eventually I'll get to the shield, so this guy will have another brother. They can be fighting next to each other. And yeah, they look different. They all will look different because I want these guys. I mean, these are all veterans. They're all individualized. And they're going to have different components, different little knickknacks. And, just because they all fight differently, they're pretty much on the way to becoming officers, lieutenants, first company captains, that sort of thing. There's going to be one more guy that I'm still tinkering with. Oops. I've just started getting a lot of his base colors on there. Still got a ways to go, but he'll have a spear. He'll be the actual de facto sergeant for the squad. He's got some fancier looking armor down there on his right greave. He's got some extra little knickknacks and reliquaries and other stuff, scrimshaw bones and stuff on him. That's going to make him stand out a little bit more. And since the other two have swords and he has the kind of traditional spear that the Iron Snakes have, that definitely will help him stand out as a squad leader. I don't know if they will have squad leaders. If they do, that's going to be really cool, because that means we're right now we're thinking that these guys are going to be having 3 attacks base, and we know that they'll be regular Marines, but probably 3 wounds with my guess. This is just me guessing, maybe a little wish listing, but these Blade Guard veterans will probably be 2 to 3 wounds and 3 attacks base with that mastercrafted power sword. They'll probably have some sort of bodyguard ability. I'm thinking something similar to the Victrix Guard oh goodness, what's that guy's name? Marnius Calgar has over at the with the Ultramarines. That's my guess. We'll see if my guess is right. Very soon, I'm guessing. And speaking of very soon, well, I've got a bunch of you watching right now. Let me go ahead and say that I have worked out a deal with Atomic Hobby Shop in Cypress, Texas. So, provided that everything works all right, and if whichever one of us gets it first, because I'm working on getting my own copy, an early copy to do an unboxing of the Indomitus box to do here live on the camera. But if I do, or they get it first, whoever gets it first, we're going to do a joint unboxing with Fmp War Gamers, which I'm a part of course, unless you didn't know that. And we're going to film out of the Atomic Hobby Shop, both here on this channel and on Fmp War Gamers. That is the plan right now. Things could change, but the plan is to do a joint stream, promote both channels, do an unboxing, and then I'm going to be sitting in their studio for a couple days, and probably for close to 8 hours. The way I'm going to look at it is maybe pretty much be like a job. I'm going to go be there the idea right now is to be there for 8 hours, and over the course of 3 days, paint the entire box. 3 to 4 days, depending on when it would come in. The idea is, at least for if they get their copy before I do, that way they can have their demo copy ready to go. So anyways, I'll definitely announce that as soon as we know. And I'm still tracking to, as long as I can get 2 boxes, I can afford 2 boxes, that is, I will on this channel give away 1 box of the Indomitus, that Indomitus launch box. But that's only going to happen if I get up to 50 followers here on Twitch, and I get 100 followers over on YouTube. That link is below, by the way. Subscriber, follower, whatever. I know I don't have a lot of content up on the YouTube right now. I'm getting there. It just takes a long time for my computer to process videos, to render them down. But I am trying to get this entire library up over there. And of course, I've got some content videos we're going to be doing. So like I said, tutorial videos for quick and easy to help you guys out. Anybody out that needs some help with painting and such. So I'm working on that. That should be, I was hoping that'd be up this week, but need to go visit my family, my parents up in Dallas, to check on them, make sure they're doing okay. I haven't been able to visit them because of all the cough stuff going on, so I need to go visit. So unfortunately, I won't be doing any videos, but I will have a couple videos up on Wednesday night. Those will basically be for Thursday and Friday. Those will be on YouTube, and I'll definitely post those up and let you guys know that they're available. And if you want to, you can watch one on Thursday, so you can feel like we're there together, and you can watch one on Friday. Whatever you want to do, or don't watch videos, whatever. But if you do, head over to YouTube Even if it's just a quick comment, the more that you guys comment on the videos and like them, give them the thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever, and you leave a comment on the videos and make sure you subscribe and everything, what that does is it highlights the channel, makes it easier for people to find the channel, makes easier for people to find the videos and realize that those are out there. And the more people that join the channel, the more well, the bigger that it grows. And the bigger that it grows, it means that's more stuff that I get to give away to you guys as the channel grows and benefits from sponsorships, even if it's just local sponsorships, given, like, hey, here's some free giveaways that you can give to your people, or partnerships that I could team up with. That's stuff that I get to give to you all as a thank you. Especially that it's like, hey, we're having a special code for you go here on this day, you get a special sale price for this product, whatever. I want to be able to do that for you guys, but I can't do anything if the channel is not big enough, because nobody's going to take notice. So getting people to like and subscribe, I know it's a pain in the butt, and you guys hear it probably a lot from a lot of YouTubers and a lot of Twitch guys, but there's a reason behind it all, as I'm finding out. And now that I kind of have a better understanding of why they're always talking about that and they're asking, now I get it. And now, I go back through and I'm like, okay, I'm going to like your channel. I like your content. I'll leave comments and thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. I mean, just here, you guys helping out is huge. Just following me here and engaging is absolutely huge. Not just from a standpoint of growing the channel, but man, it's really awesome to know that people really appreciate I'm assuming appreciate the work, or they're just hoping they catch me on camera doing something stupid they can all laugh at, like getting scared when people play sound effects, that sort of thing, which I'm on guard right now, so you're not going to get me. But whatever it is that brings you here. I'd also like to, I'm not sure how I'm going to get it set up yet, but I want to start seeing your guys' work, your work out there. I know you guys, there's a lot of good painters that are watching right now, or will be watching the repeats of this later. And I like seeing people's work. I like seeing conversions. I like seeing their paint jobs. Because you might do something. I'm just like, how did he do that? Or how did she build that? Or how did they paint that? And I'm going to want to try to duplicate it. And this is how, you grow in the hobby. This is how you grow as an artist and as a painter. Whatever it is that you're doing is constantly learning. Hell, I'm relearning how to draw. I'm changing my entire art style because I don't want to do that regular comic booky style art. I want to do more of that Japanese manga style. I know that's still comic book. I just don't want to do the Western style anymore. So I'm relearning, taking that time, and it's because I've met people just here on this channel who have helped push me. And I ask questions, and I've seen people paint stuff. Gross Nerd the other day jumped on and gave me a suggestion for how to do some. I'm sorry, guys. I was pulling that away. I was doing some. Sorry, let me really jump in here. I was putting some of the white, Bolt Titanium white over the Corax white there on the helmet. Give it that sharp edge on both sides, trying to get that prepped. Sorry, I was just rambling, and I did not mean to pull the model away from the camera. I apologize. At any rate, I just want to say I really do appreciate all the support everybody's been in person and here on the channel, here or over on Fmp War Gamers. It's really awesome that I get to engage with everybody. It is, and I don't know how to stress how much it means to me to be able to sit here and chat with people, especially during everything that's going on right now, but be able to chat with you all, share ideas, and just banter back and forth about units and product and brushes and paint, whatever. It's a lot of fun. I get to learn and share knowledge. I mean, like it said in the description, I've got 30 some odd years of knowledge building and painting models, and I'm still learning as I go. And I mean, I don't know. I just like to be able to share stuff with y'all. It's a lot of fun. And you guys make it a lot of fun. I do really appreciate that. I don't know how else to stress. I don't know how else I can stress how much I appreciate it. So I'm just going to stop. I'm not going to say anymore. So he's got an edge there on his blade. I need to clean up that inside of that edge on that. Oh no, it's there. It's there. Just the light wasn't catching it right. We got his sword there. So he got his master-crafted power sword. Got the gold. All right, things are looking good here. Need to work on his shoulder pad a little bit more, and we'll need to get a shield, but a shield is for tomorrow. But while I've got a little bit of white left on my palette, we're going to go ahead, so I'm not wasting it. It's not how I wanted to do this, but we're going to go ahead. I usually like to put the Corax white, but this has already got Corax white over it. So usually I like to try to do a base coat, but this Bull Titanium white has got such great coverage. So good. I don't mind just putting it all over this here. This is just a prep. Once this dries, and we'll probably work on it again tomorrow on the camera, so you guys can see what I'll be doing with it. I'll pull up the other shield so you guys can see it, but we'll get it up to that other shield standard. And I'm not, like, right now, I don't even care that I'm getting over on areas that will be red. That's not a big deal. It's just getting this white on there now. We're gonna have to put a wash down in those recesses, and then we're gonna have to very delicately paint red so it will match that shield. We want these shields to match. So just need to get from here to there. It won't be difficult. That's actually fairly simple. It's just tedious. So let me show you the last bit of the models here, just so you can see how they turned out. Our Abomination is looking very terrifying, and like he's in a lot of pain. Very painful. He's had a very, very bad day. Looks like they tried to hang him, and the Necromancer was like, no, we're not going to let that happen. We don't want that to happen. So they did his little necromancy thing, and now he's like super raging Todd. Yeah, this guy's name is Todd. All right, so Todd is super angry. Then we have our, now that I realize it, I mean, her outfit almost looks kind of like those original Star Trek outfits with the red and then the white collar. I think it was a white collar and then the little white symbol, Starfleet symbol almost. Total accident. Anyways, this is one of our survivors for Zombicide. A couple layers of red on her. Her boots actually came out looking pretty nice. The belt will need a little bit of cleanup work, but everything looks pretty good. We got a little bit of a white rose, or a little white rose symbol there on her chest. I just kind of painted on. Not that great, but you know what? From here, it looks fantastic. So, and last but not least, not sure how I'm going to do his flesh on his hands and his face, but we have Evil Troy or Evil Ash from Army of Darkness for the Zombicide game. So he's coming along. The Nolan oil settled down quite nicely over that Black Templar. So now I'll be able to go in and dry that up a little bit more, and we'll pick out those colors tomorrow. So he's looking pretty good. We'll make him look really nasty tomorrow. All right, everybody, I really do super appreciate you sticking around and listen to me rant and ramble on about painting. Starting next week, we'll be having a little bit more structure. Some of the videos, I think, I'm still trying to figure out which days, but I think some days will be strictly, we're going to be painting Marvel miniatures this day. We're going to be painting Warhammer models this day. And then I think Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be tutorial days, like building tutorials or painting tutorials. And that way, if you guys have any questions or you have any requests, like, hey, how would you paint a Space Wolf? How would you do Dark Angels? How would you paint a zombie? Whatever. I can do my best here with the collection of models I have, and we can test it out to the best of my ability. And especially if you have some requests and stuff, especially if you're about ready to start painting models and you're not sure where to start, it'll be your chance to jump on camera, or not jump on camera, but jump in the stream and say, hey, John, can you paint this for me? I want to know how to do a Tyranid Gaunt of this chapter. What's an easy way to do it? I got you, bro. I got you. Okay. Enough of that. I'm going to get going. You all have been fantastic. I really do appreciate it. And make sure you hit all those social medias down below. The Twitter, Instagram, especially Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Those ones, and of course here on Twitch, those are the big ones because those are the ones that are getting the most focus right now. And I'm updating more and more as I go along. There's going to be a lot more coming down the line, especially contest on our first giveaways, especially the closer we get to those 50 followers here on Twitch, the better, the more I'm going to want to give out some prizes. I think we have 28 days to go, or 26 days to go, but I'm going to tell you what, I might even have a special thing if we hit 50 followers. I'm gonna think about this. I'll let you all know tomorrow. If I hit 50 followers by my birthday, by July 9th, which is 9 days. How many more days is this month? 7 more days. That's 16 days. So if we get 50 followers in 16 days, then if we get it, 10 days before my goal, then I will triple the giveaway. I'll triple the giveaway. Yeah, we will do 3 giveaways instead of 1. All right. So just put that out there just for you guys to go, and just so you guys know. Anyways, once again, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit those subscription buttons, and I will talk to you sometime tomorrow. Oh, actually, you guys can catch me on Fmp War Gamers at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's twitch.tv. Fmp War Gamers, 10 o'clock CST. That's Central Standard Time for news and rumors. And then tomorrow night, same time, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, I will be doing another live stream. All right. I will see you all later. Thank you.